If you want to make money in the China market and grow in profit over the next 20 years, you need to know the 10 basic parts of the China game plan for the next 10 years. In my program, I will teach you all 10 of the game plan steps. I will show you supporting information about this game plan. I will show you how to program your corporation or organization to take advantage of what the China game plan is. The China game plan is the single most important thing you will ever learn about being successful and having growth and profit in the China market. If you want to be profitable in China, these steps are the secret to your success in China. China, one of the oldest cultures in the world, led the entire world for history except for the last 500 years. And they plan to lead the world again. My job is to provide bottom line ideas and techniques for you to thrive in the China market. Whether you are buying, selling, manufacturing, investing, outsourcing, whatever you are doing in the China market, it is my job to help you have bottom line techniques to make money and thrive in that China market. And I want you to remember something. 70% of all corporate profits in the future 20 years will all come from the Chindia market. That's the market that combines China and India, Chindia. For the next 20 years, the most important market in the world will be Asia, and specifically China and India. Here's a little known fact about China. Every month, China needs to build an entire city the size of either Houston or Philadelphia just to keep up with population growth. Every minute, 34 children are born in China, and the population increases by 7 million people per year. Here's another little known fact about China. Shanghai, a city about the same size as the city of San Diego, renovates or constructs 200 million feet of offices and commercial buildings every year, or the same amount that's in the entire state of New Jersey in the United States. Shanghai, which is 8 times larger than New York City, has a population of 18 to 20 million people. And it gets $10 billion of foreign investment for construction and infrastructure every single year. Right now, Shanghai is the world's headquarters for the most construction projects in the history of the world in one place. China today is a land of startling contrast. China has gone from having no cars to having Rolls-Royces, Mercedes, and entire brand new brands of automobiles that will change the automotive world in history. China has gone from having no phones to having 320 million cell phone users and a brand new chip technology to take over the cell phone technology of the world. China has gone from having no computers to 200 million computer users. China has gone from Mao jackets to Armani and Louis Vuitton. China has gone from having no roads to having the most advanced roads and the most roads under construction anywhere in the history of the world on the globe at one time. China is a land that has the highest skyscrapers and the most modern equipment and still uses men with shovels and bamboo structures to build skyscrapers. Our China today is a China of startling contrasts. China is one of the most interesting cultures on earth. China is the same geographic size as the United States, but has a population of 5 or 6 times larger. In the United States, we have 300 million, and China has somewhere between 1.2 and 1.5 billion people. China is a land with 50 different kinds of people, with different cultures, traditions, languages. China is a land with 7 major languages and over 80 dialects. China is a fascinating land. Chinese today are natural-born entrepreneurs. Unlike the Russians and the other Eastern Bloc countries, the Chinese understand capitalism and understand entrepreneurship from their history of 5,000 years. Today's Chinese are the Rockefellers and the Carnegies of the 19th century America. There are 2 things for sure you never have to teach the Chinese: entrepreneurship and gambling. Chinese are the greatest gamblers in the history of the world. This year, for the first time in history, Macau, China, the former Portuguese territory ceded back to China, will become the largest gambling location in the history of the world, surpassing Las Vegas. For all of you who have been to Las Vegas and seen the Venetian in Las Vegas, that beautiful, enormous property in Las Vegas, try to grasp the idea that in Macau right now, they are opening up a Venetian that is 3 times larger than the Venetian in Las Vegas. You do not have to teach the Chinese entrepreneurship or gambling. And that's why they make great entrepreneurs. They're willing to gamble and risk and make things happen in their cities and in their country. China as a country has more dichotomies than any other country in the history of the world, ever in the world. Every economist in the world has always said that there are several things absolutely required for economic growth. For example, you have to have rule of law to have economic growth. Well, China courts do not have rule of law, and they're desperately working on a system of laws that will be used throughout China that are uniform and exact. Another one is rule of property rights. Just last week, for the first time in history, a rule of property rights bill was introduced to the China legislature. But up to now, China has never had property rights. Everything belongs to the state. And yet every economist in the world says you cannot grow. And here is China today growing at a 10 to 11% GDP growth per year, even though the economists say it cannot be done. Every economist in the world has always said that you must have a floating currency that is eminently tradable around the world. And yet in China we have a currency that basically still does not float and is totally useless outside of China. Every economist has always said in the world, for economic growth, you need a combination of things that China does not have. And yet China continues to stun the world with its growth and development. China is a country of dichotomy, but it's a country you want to be in to work. I can explain these dichotomies and show you how to make this part of your China plan. If you want to make money in the China market and grow in profit over the next 20 years, you need to know the 10 basic parts of the China game plan for the next 10 years. In my program, I will teach you all 10 of the game plan steps. I will show you supporting information about this game plan. I will show you how to program your corporation or organization to take advantage of what the China game plan is. The China game plan is the single most important thing you will ever learn about being successful and having growth and profit in the China market. If you want to be profitable in China, these steps are the secret to your success in China.